This is exercise 13.6, modeling a designed special ditch in a roadway model. In this exercise, we will place a special ditch template within the roadway model and then place a ditch centerline that will be used on the plan sheets. So let's go ahead and open back up that Road2SD corridor DGN file located within the Chapter 13 subfolder. Let's make sure that the default view is active in the lower left corner. And let's turn off the Road2SD corridor DGN 3D file. So we will first place a end condition exception on the left side of the corridor from station 152.50 to station 162.50. But remember, we already placed a condition exception in this area in exercise 13.4. And because we are using the same file, we do not need to redo that. However, we do need to change the start station of the end condition exception from station 152.50. In the 2D view, select the brownish yellow rectangle above the template drop that represents the limits of the end condition exception. And let's change that start station to 152.50. So next, let's open the Edit End Condition Exception view. This can be done in a few different ways by either hovering over the end condition exception in the 2D view, by right-clicking on the end condition exception in the Properties view, or by navigating to the end condition exception section in the Corridor Objects tool. I'm just going to hover over this condition and select Edit End Condition Exception. So here we want to toggle on Display All Components, and then delete all of the end condition components. And then click OK, and the software will process the changes. Now we'll open up the 3D view so we can see those changes a little bit easier. Basically, there's no end conditions from station to station. Now let's switch back to the OpenNodes modeling workflow. Now let's open the Single Offset Partial tool under OpenNodes Modeling, Geometry, Horizontal, and then Offsets and Tapers. And then we can select the mainline centerline. Key in an offset of anything other than 0. However, it is recommended to use an offset between 30 and 50. And then we can start at station 152.50. We will end it at station 162.50. And again, we're using this random number as the offset of anything between 30 and 40. And this is just a dummy element used to provide snap points for the next step. So setting the feature definition or anything else is not really critical, since we're just going to delete the element in a couple steps. So go ahead and place that dummy element. So next, open up the Apply Linear Templates tool under OpenNodes Modeling, Model Detailing, 3D Tools. And we're going to select the left subgrade type point, which is the PSTL in the 2D view. And to be able to select it a little bit easier, we're just going to turn off the Design Corridor Graphics Design point. And then we can easily grab this PSTL point. So once we select it, we're going to select the Trapezoidal Ditch Turf Reinforcement L template. So this can be found under the End Conditions, Ditches, Special Ditches, and then Ditches and Fill, and then Trapezoidal Ditch Turf Reinforcement L, and select OK. And then for the start station, we're just going to snap to the beginning and end points of the dummy line that we just created. So let's start it there and end it. And just to remove this text level here, I'm just going to turn that off as well. Then we want to place this orange object on the outside of the template, and then left click through the rest of the prompts. The template has now been placed in the model, so we can go ahead and delete that dummy element that was created a few steps ago. Now we need to edit the template to match the proposed special ditch configuration. So let's go ahead and open the Edit Template Drop tool under Open Roads Modeling, Corridor, and Edit, and select the Special Ditch Template Drop. I just had to turn back on that corridor graphics level to be able to select the template drop. So let's remember that the proposed special ditch configuration is a trapezoidal 2-foot flat bottom ditch with a 4:1 foreslope and backslope with a 2-foot depth below this upgrade. So we're going to edit a few of these points we see on the screen here. So let's first open up EC ditch in L point. We're going to change the vertical constraint here to -2 and the slope to 25%. And then apply and close. Next, open up the ECSP ditch CL L. And notice that the horizontal constraint is set to -1. The ditch configuration has a 2-foot bottom ditch, so the center line should always be halfway between the EC ditch in L and the EC ditch out L, or 1. And then using the name dropdown, change the name of the point to ECSP ditch R CL L to get the flow arrows to be in the opposite direction of the stationing, and then apply and close. Then open up the EC ditch edge out L point. And change the slope of this to -25% and apply and close. So once updated, your ditch should start to match the design special ditch. So click Test in the lower right corner to see how this end condition operates. And then click Draw and move your cursor up and down to simulate the change in the existing terrain. And then we can close this window once we have reviewed. Then we can click OK to process the changes from this window. Now that you should see a gap near the ends of the special ditch. Adding key stations on the main line can reduce this gap. Finding the right key station placement to fill the gaps is an iterative process, but currently the key stations cannot be placed on linear templates. So let's go ahead and open up that Create Key Station tool under Open Roads Modeling, Corridor, Edit, and Edits. And we're going to add a key station just on the edge of each of the template drops. So the first one is going to be a station 152.49.99. So right on the edge. It should fill in some of the gap here. We'll do that on the end as well. So this one can be placed at 162.50.01. And it should fill in this gap. So those gaps less than 0.1 feet are common and required in modeling scenarios when the template drops, template components, and constraints are changing. The designer should use discretion and engineering judgment to determine when a model has gaps that are negligent. Knowing exactly where these templates changes can be helpful, and placing key stations 0.01 from the change can fully eliminate gaps in the model. And this concludes exercise 13.6, modeling a designed special ditch in the roadway model.